In this video, I'm going to tell you my secret of how I get these phones working perfectly no matter what. This is the iPhone 5S. As you can see, it's the classic Apple design, and in this video I'm going to be finding out if it's still viable in 2023. As you can see, that's the Apple logo fires on. Now there's nothing I can do about the startup time. That's just how it's built. I can tell that Apple still kind of is updating this phone. I don't think it's been divorced yet like the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S have. It doesn't have fingerprint recognition, of course no facial recognition, so I just take it off screen and enter my password. It connects to my network. I've got a Lebara SIM card in there at the moment. I'm in the UK and Lebara is one of our providers that you can get on the high street without any contracts. So I always have a SIM card in there from one of those contractless providers. Sometimes the iPhone doesn't let you do anything unless you have a SIM card. And as you can see, the screen is absolutely minimal. That's because I've put all the apps in one folder, which I've put away in the second screen. And that's how I get this really clear screen. Now if I wanted to, I could also remove all of these, but these are the apps that I use constantly, so they're just there in the little scroll bar there. Because it's got a SIM card, it's got an actual number, and as a telephone, this device still works absolutely brilliantly. I think a lot of people still have this actually as their main phone. I've got Apple Music there because I've got some music on this phone. I have the Apple iTunes Match from back in the day, so it's actually downloaded a whole bunch of albums onto this device. This device is the 64 gig edition though, so it doesn't have that much space compared to the things that we have these days. So I don't fill it up with much, just my favorite songs. I've got here the book player, and basically that is an audiobook player. And I am an avid listener of audiobooks, so that is crucial. That contains some of the books that I'm reading at the moment. I am reading up on socialism, just so I'm reading Friedrich Nietzsche at the moment, and those are sort of the books that I have lined up. And of course, you have the Apple Podcast app over there. My podcasts still sync happily and download when I need them. Now, some of the apps that I've put away because I don't actually need them all the time, but I still use them. Of course, you have the text message app, which is inbuilt, of course, and that would always work. You have the wallet app, which even though I don't use, you can't delete. You have the health app, you can't delete that one either. You have Find My Phone, which is really, really crucial because if I lose this phone, I won't be able to find it. You have the App Store, which is crucial because that's how I get new apps onto the device. You can't delete the clock, the camera, you can't delete. I don't use the camera for anything because actually the quality of the camera on this phone isn't that great compared to the stuff that I have access to. Some people might need that, and that still works perfectly. Of course, the Photos app, you can't delete. Again, I don't use it. I still use the Contacts app to keep, obviously, details of people that might ring me on this phone. The Files folder is very, very important to me because that's where all my audiobooks are sitting. The Safari browser is also important as a last resort if I don't have access to my other phone. And of course, the settings you can't delete. Let's look at Safari. That's usually a good one. It takes a while, but it does load. This page does not exist. That is a bookmark that I left many, many years ago. Right, so let's look at something like, I don't know, the BBC. As you can see, that loads up happily. It wants me to do this cookies thing or sign in. Perhaps that's the bad one. Let's look at something that won't try and... All right, let's do a Google search. Same business. How do I reject this? All right, reject all. Let's look at Apple's website. That's a pretty heavy website, very challenging for the phone. But as you can see, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let's look at YouTube. Let's see if we can play a video. Wants me to download something. Reject. This is Europe, guys. We have to click these things. Let's click on Mr. Beast. As you see, okay, let me close that. I didn't get copyright. As you can see, it works perfectly. I mean, it's fast and it does everything exactly right. You can still connect this to the App Store. You can still download apps, no problem. So this phone, in my opinion, is still quite viable in 2023. It's starting to feel a little bit warm to the hand though, so it's probably working a little bit harder than modern phones are with these new websites. Another thing that I haven't tested with, of course, is games, because I don't play games on this, but I'm sure some games will work. And now for the last part about the secret of how I keep these phones working perfectly and not having to jailbreak or do any of that sort of stuff. So what I do is, when I first get my phone, whenever it is, whether it be the iPhone 4, iPhone 5, 6, whatever it is, I get it to the state that I want in a perfect working way with all the apps I think I'm going to need. And then I do a backup, right, of the phone the way it is. And I put that backup away in a hard disk where I store all my backups. And whenever I get a phone like an iPhone 5, an iPhone 6, whatever, I look into my archives and I pick a backup to restore onto the phone, so all of my apps appear without having to worry about if they're still available in the App Store or not. Now the problem with that, of course, is some of the apps will try and force an update because they no longer take that version of the app, but at least I have the app on the phone. Some apps will not allow you to install the app at all if you don't have the correct operating system version running on your phone. Another thing, of course, is that you can actually restore an iPhone 5 with a backup from a different iPhone, say an iPhone 6, an iPhone 7, or iPhone 8. It's the operating system, and it will figure out by itself what to restore onto your phone, what features will work and which won't. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos, including iPhone 4, iPhone 6. I'm going to do other Apple devices and other things in 2023. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.